What's up, dudes? Chooch back with another video, and today we're out here ripping on the Inmotion v11, and this is where this thing shines at. And I want y'all to look at, in particular, look at my suspension when I'm riding on the road. And I'm seeing a ton of videos where guys ride their Inmotion v11s with way too much air in the chambers, guys. I'm looking in every video I'm looking at. I mean, every single one, they're jacked up. The pedals are way high. You need some give in your suspension on this wheel. You have to, when you get on the wheel and you stand on it flat and you're just propped against a wall or something like that, you should have at least half an inch to an inch of where that thing goes down. About a half inch of your pedals dropping, and this will give you so much more control and flow and just use of your suspension. I mean, I'm pretty much seeing people fighting the suspension in the V11 videos, and with me, I got it dialed in, and I'm grooving with it and loving it. And like I said in the review of the S18 and the Inmotion V11, this thing is the street queen. Look at this right here. I'm keeping this thing at about 36 the entire time. On my Relive app, I had it literally full speed, about 35, 36 miles an hour the entire time down this canyon. This is a 4,000 foot elevation gain. And in this video right here, I'm not going to be going the entire distance down the canyon, but this is a steep canyon, probably about a 12 to 13% grade the entire time. And so I'm just cruising on this thing, and I'm loving it, guys. So this is kind of part of the range test I'm going to be showing you guys. I went a long way, and I'm on, get this, guys, I'm on about 56% battery right here, and I'm still going about 36 miles an hour on the Inmotion V11. And so looking back at this footage right here, though, this was sketchy fast. So this was a brand new paved section of road, and I had to go back. They'd been working on this road forever, and I went back immediately, and I was like, dude, I gotta go take the motorcycle up here and hit this section of road, and it is so much fun. But actually looking back at the speed of my motorcycle when I was riding with my GoPro, I can really look at my speed in the corners, you know, and look at my gearing and stuff. It's really good thing about cameras nowadays. You can look at how you're riding and improve on it a lot, even on motorcycles. But I was only going, guys, about 10 miles an hour faster on my motorcycle on a lot of this stuff. On these open stretches right here, granted, I was giving it full throttle. I ride one of the Honda Groms, a little 125cc Honda Groms, and you can really, especially on mountain roads that are flat like this, going downhill, you can fly on that little bike. I mean, you can really get going fast. But on this wheel, I was going about 36 miles an hour. And in a lot of these hairpin corners on the Grom, I was going about 45 and maybe topping, maybe going like 46 on some of it, you know. But less than 10 miles an hour difference on most of the stuff, you know. So it's a lot of fun, man. This wheel is a ton of fun, and it is just, with no handlebars, going through a canyon like this at this speed and having the suspension. This is as close as you're getting to a hoverboard, guys. If you actually want the real feeling of floating of a hoverboard, literally hands-free, of just your body being like, I mean, this is like you're floating across the ground, guys. I mean, this really is. This is the closest you're going to get to it. I know Lexus tried to design a hoverboard a few years back that floated or whatever, had magnetic, like a skate park for it. But this right here, guys, I'm telling you, I've rode a lot of unicycles before and everything, and I've rode miles and miles on it. But man, you could comfortably ride forever on this thing, forever. And I will give you a teaser on this thing. So in the range test for it, dude, I couldn't kill the battery on it. I rode forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and I finally was just like, dude, I mean, I can't ride it up a hill far enough anymore, you know. And like, I'm lightweight. This wheel cooks, man. With a 130-pound rider on it, man, this thing is just, it doesn't struggle a bit, dude. This thing is a powerhouse. I mean, this is like a little motorcycle you can throw by the front door, put under your desk. Like, it is, man, this thing is impressive. I mean, it really is. For street riding like this is everything you would ever want right here, you know. Maybe an M Super Pro would be a little bit more beneficial. You know, I mean, it would only be, think about an M Super Pro though, the high torque, you're only going to get 1 more mile an hour out of it. You know, this is really getting up there, guys. Like, this is suspension plus speed. This is really nice for road riding like this. I'm on a main road, guys, a main road in Colorado going through the mountains. Like, this is what the roads in Rocky Mountains look like until you get up far enough where people don't live anymore and it just becomes dirt roads, which y'all will see in the range test. It's nothing but dirt roads. But this, I mean, this is kind of what to expect, you know, and there is cars that can go fast on this road, but the cars are going about the speed I'm going for these corners, you know. So on most of these roads around here, I'll typically catch up to cars, you know, and most people will pull over and let me pass them, and that just kind of shows you how fast you're going. You know, you have so much of a speed advantage on these hairpin corners and mountain roads on one wheel. Even more so on one wheel, I feel like I have way more control on one wheel for these corners and stuff like that than I do even on my motorcycle, you know. A lot of this stuff you can really kind of overshoot it, you know. If you're not a seasoned motorcycle rider on these corners, you know, you'll hit every corner perfect, you know. You'll literally get your apex perfect, come in, braking, shift, everything is great, and then you'll have a corner that is coming up kind of like this one, I think, coming up right here, that's a lot tighter than all the other ones, and then you're just like, you know, it kind of throws you off. And on a motorcycle, yeah, this one right here, that corner right there on a motorcycle is a lot different than all the other ones, you know. It is a lot steeper on that inside embankment, and if you're not like in second gear in that corner, you'll overshoot it in third gear every time, you know. You don't want to overshoot it and there'd be a car coming on the other side. So this thing is incredibly controllable on these mountain roads, you know. You can have a great time on these things, you know, in a lot of different scenarios. You can have fun on bike paths, on main roads, on mountain roads, and stuff like this. You have to do this at a certain day of the week. So this is on a Sunday afternoon right here, where everybody that lives up here in the mountains is not commuting. So that's key. So Saturdays and Sundays is perfect. That's why everybody rides road bikes in the mountains on Saturdays and Sundays, because everybody that lives up there, and especially in places like this where it's not touristy, everybody's not going to be traveling, you know, to get to work and back and forth and stuff like that. So you got to be smart about the way you do stuff like this. You know, I don't advise hopping on your local main road that is 60 mile an hour and taking the thing out. You know, nobody's going to be going 60 miles an hour on this road. And again, there's very few people this time of week, you know. So if you're going to do stuff like this, do it smart, you know. So again, with this suspension, I want everybody to look at my feet whenever I'm riding this thing, and look when I'm going into corners, whenever I'm going over bumps, whenever I make the movements. You know, I can compress this thing on demand. You want it to be floaty, guys. I don't know how. It is amazing me looking at these Inmotion videos of people riding, and just the way they have this thing just pumped up, and it is just not working. There is no point of having suspension if you have 200 pounds of pressure in these chambers, okay? I'm 130 pounds. I'm riding with 80 in each side. You can adjust that accordingly, but I'd say if you're a 180 pound rider, you need probably about 105 to 110 pounds in these chambers, and no more than that. Getting up to 180, 200 pounds of pressure in it, it is just not doing anything. You know, it's more counterproductive than anything else, you know. You really want these things low. You can look at my heels right here. Look at the heels. Whenever I'm riding this thing, these pedals are just as low, if not lower, than M Super pedals, guys. These should not be way up high. It just shouldn't be. It just shouldn't have that much clearance, you know. It should be floaty. You should be able to go into corners, have compression, and use the suspension, you know. Look, I mean, you can tell it's being used. Whenever I'm going into corners, it's even compressing, you know. This is just the way it should be set up. It is absolutely no question. Oh, and another thing you often will see me do, especially on like mountain roads like this, on steep grades and stuff, is I'll carve, especially on the straightaways, is I'll carve back and forth. Number one, it's a lot of fun. Number two, it's especially a lot of fun on this wheel with the suspension. It feels really, really nice. And number three, it in my mind, I've been riding these unicycles since like the 9x1 E Plus days, and I was really giving that thing a lot of abuse on the motor, and I kind of got this habit formed where whenever I'd ride down hills, I would carve to take stress off the motherboard, and I would ride that 9x1 E Plus so hard, I popped like 5 motherboards in that wheel. And I got to the point where I was just like, okay, and it was because I'd go downhill and then I'd brake hard, and it would just blow it out. And the wheels nowadays won't do that at all. And so this is just a habit I developed over time, and it stuck. And I enjoy doing it now. I love it, but it also is one of those things that is not a bad thing to do. It can't be bad, you know. If in any light like this, going straight down a hill, you know, if you went straight down this hill on a road bike, you would hit. I mean, you'd hit Mach speed if you never hit the brakes, you know. So you got to think the little bit of carving back and forth, you know, is just generosity to your motor. You know, granted, there's that regenerative braking there. Granted, it probably is not going to hurt it going down a hill like this. You know, these things can handle that. It's probably just going to put a ton of power back into your batteries, and worst case scenario. But this little bit of carving back and forth, though it may not look like I'm doing much, it is taking some of the stress of a 13% grade straight down for 20 miles off the motor, you know. Going just straight down like that, I think for 20 miles like that with no carving back and forth, I think it would personally do some damage to it. You know, I think personally after a long time, if you were going top speed 36 miles an hour and you were just expecting the machine to do everything, it probably wouldn't. But that's just a habit I've developed, and I feel like that's just something that works, you know. And I would do the same thing, I mean, on a skateboard. You know, on a skateboard, if you went straight down that, again, you'd probably break the damn sound barrier, you know, going down this thing. But you have to carve back and forth a little bit, you know, and that little bit of carving right there, I think, helps a lot. And another weird thing about this wheel that I really do like a lot that I never really thought of until you ride it for a little bit is this wheel is really a lot more narrow than the M Supers that I'm used to. So like the M Super Pro, M Super X, stuff like that, especially with the side pads, once you get all that bulk on there, this is just a lot skinnier, which, you know, when you're standing just straight up without that, just like that big bulk in between your legs, you know, and you're just standing straight up at a casual stance. You know, your stance on the Inmotion V11 is relatively casual, you know, and when you have those pads on there where you can really, I know I talk about them a lot. I'm telling you, it's everything in the entire world. I'm gonna do the video, guys, about how to make the little side pads or whatever. A lot of you guys probably won't think the video is that important because you kind of see how to make them yourself, but I can kind of go into some details about it, dude, and it makes such a big difference. You know, my ankle bones on each side are comfortable. They aren't rubbing at all. I'm just comfortable on this wheel. I really am. There's literally no hot spots or anything that's fatiguing me. There's no spot on my foot that's getting fatigued at all. I mean, I'm literally just comfortable, just chilling riding this thing. I really do. I mean, I out of all the wheels, this is the one where if this thing could go 600 miles on a charge, I think I could go 600 miles on it in one afternoon, you know. I really do. You know, you give me some good breakfast and some good weather and send me on my merry way at crack of dawn, and I could go all the way pretty much halfway across this country on this thing, I think. And it really is. It's a cruiser, man. It's a lot of fun. This wheel is great. Both the S18 and the Inmotion V11 have grown on me substantially, you know, and in the time I've had to ride them. And it's just, these things, they're amazing. You know, these wheels have taken the game to the next level. Suspension really is everything on these wheels, and getting back on my other wheels that don't have suspension, it really is. It's like, man, I'm missing something. So I think they're great.
This thing is sweet, dude. That's fun.
The link below, guys, takes you straight to eWheels. It is an affiliate link. It helps the channel. You can pre-order the V11, the Veteran Sherman, the S18, and get all of the latest wheels there. M Super Pros, all that stuff. Link below, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.